Welcome to Top Title Sports. I am Eric Vincent. Thank you for tuning in. Lions fans, let's have a conversation. Let's take a seat and talk about something. The trade deadline has come and gone. The Lions got active. They made a move. They bring in Donovan Peoples-Jones from the Cleveland Browns. Move a fifth-round pick to go get him. And it was a necessary move that I kind of like. I understand it, and it makes sense. The offense needed some tuning up. The wide receiver core definitely needed some tuning up. You have Amon-Ra St. Brown, your legitimate stud of a number one receiver. You have a breakout performer this season and a rookie in Sam Laporta at your tight end position. You have big catch playmakers in Josh Reynolds and Khalif Raymond, and for whatever reason, Jamison Williams just forgot how to catch the football. But whatever, we're not going to rant about J-Mo. Let's stick to the topic at hand. The Lions do absolutely nothing in terms of the trade deadline for the defense. This is a flagrant mistake and a huge missed opportunity by the Detroit Lions. Now, I'm not going to lie. When the deadline crept up and got closer, I thought the Lions were going to be in a position where they weren't going to be able to get anybody. And I would have kind of been okay with it to an extent. The first domino that I remember watching fall, was Leonard Williams get traded from the Giants to the Seattle Seahawks. They moved a second-rounder and a fifth-rounder to go get him. I don't think Williams is a phenomenal player, and I don't think he's better than a lot of the players who just got moved recently. And he was paid, or not paid, but the team who went and got him gave up more than the other teams who got the players that they got today. And so from how I'm looking at it, I thought, man, if they're paying a second and a fifth to go get Leonard Williams, what is Chase Young going to cost? What is Montez Sweat going to cost? I was worried about that. And lo and behold, they were cheap and affordable the whole time. All the teams that needed to make moves for the teams that they were going after, or for the championship window that they're trying to stay in, they make the appropriate moves in the areas that their roster needs. We saw it. Take for the Chiefs. You just beat the Chiefs. And what do the Chiefs need? A wide receiver. Who do they go get? Mecole Hardman. Not a great player, but a player that has familiarity with Patrick Mahomes, has played in Kansas City before. It makes sense. They address need. Love it. No problem with that. You have the Bills. They made a move for Rasul Douglas. You grab him from the Green Bay Packers. Good move. Montez Sweat goes to the Chicago Bears for a second-rounder. I don't totally understand the Bears giving up a second-rounder for a one-year rental when they're not going to win, but I don't care. I'm not a Bears fan. I don't care what they do. Looking at everything else absolutely puzzles me with this trade deadline. The biggest headline of it all was what the San Francisco 49ers did. They didn't make one move. They made two big moves, because people forget the only move that they made today was not the only one that they've done up to the deadline. They trade a third-rounder to go get Chase Young. Also, they give up a bag of Skittles to go get Randy Gregory from the Denver Broncos. So not only did they address their D-line with one player that's capable and adding to their depth with Nick Bosa and all the talent that they have, they also get Randy Gregory, who's uber talented, and as long as he stays out of trouble, is an effective football player. You just saw the Eagles make a move addressing their secondary. You see the contending teams adding to their roster to do what? To beat up people in the regular season? No, that's not what good teams do. That's not what smart franchises do. They prepare for the postseason. You stack up early to be ready for the postseason. And what did the Lions do? Not that. Not that at all. They completely let the defense go without any thought of adding anything. From what we've seen, there's been no reports that the Lions have even tried going after any of the noted D linemen or cornerbacks or secondary players to help add to the depth that they need. This is a Lions team with so much inexperience, with so many injuries up and down the defense. You would think that's the first place that they would think to go, right? You would think, hey, James Houston is out. We lost Chauncey Gardner-Johnson after, week 2 of the NFL season? You're missing a lot of guys. Brian Branch is in and out of the lineup. You just lost the guy Mosley, who you just got from the San Francisco 49ers. He's gone down. Jerry Jacobs has been injured. You've had injuries up and down this defense all season, and you do nothing to address it? How does that make sense? Please talk to me and tell me how it makes sense. I don't believe you'll be able to convince me, but you can try in the comment section. Go right ahead and tell me, because I'm not happy with what the Detroit Lions have done. I'm okay with getting Donovan Peoples-Jones. Again, the offense needed that help, but defense wins championships, right? That's the mantra since everybody started watching football, and you just let the defense go completely ignored. I'm disappointed in Brad Holmes, man. I'm disappointed in that move specifically, in this lack of move specifically. I think he's done a good job up to this point, but Brad Holmes is not perfect. There have been moves that he's made that I don't like, and he's a human being like all of us, and human beings make mistakes. NFL GMs, front office personnel, they're not always correct. They make mistakes like everybody else, and this is a huge mistake. Again, I'd be fine to find out that the Lions offered a 4th rounder or a 3rd or a 2nd, whatever, to go get Chase Young. And if they said no in Washington, then fine. But you tried, you gave it a shot. I can live with that because it gives the impression that you're trying to capitalize on the championship window that you have right now. And in the NFL, those windows don't stay open forever. You don't stand pat because you want to keep the chemistry in line with your team. To hell with chemistry. You're trying to win. You're trying to win right now. This is a franchise that's never won. Ain't won nothing since I've been here. Ain't got a division title since 91, and I was born in 1990. This team just let their most important area of the team get ignored. They did it in the draft, and now they're doing it at the trade deadline. Broderick Martin was the only move that they made to address the D-line. And I understand, at very least in the draft, where people say, because he got a lot of heat. Brad Holmes got a lot of heat for not drafting a defensive lineman. And they say, look, you're not supposed to draft for need if you're a team that's rebuilding. And I understand that. There's some truth to that. And looking at how the Lions are playing right now with a 6-2 record, it doesn't kill them to not have a Jalen Carter right now, even though he will be phenomenal on this defensive line. So, no, you don't always draft for fit when you're a team that's rebuilding. But when it's the trade deadline, that's exactly what you're supposed to take advantage of. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. Free agency, same exact philosophy. You don't let all these good players just skirt off to other teams, especially when they're going to the teams you have to see in the postseason. You're going to have to see the Niners at some point if you're aiming for a championship window. You're going to have to see the Eagles at some point if you're trying to get to a Super Bowl. The Seattle Seahawks have been a thorn in our behind for the past 2 years. They just stacked up on their defense, and they just made a move in front of you. You don't stand pat as all these contenders make the smart moves to keep chemistry. Who cares? You're only getting these guys for the duration of that window. Someone's talking to me on Twitter and social media saying, oh, well, you want to trade away and go get Chase Young. Then if you have to re-sign him, then you have to decide how you're going to have money to re-sign Penei Sewell and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Why are we worried about contracts right now? I'm sorry. Don't bad teams worry about contracts and drafting and future assets at this point of the season? Isn't it the same football team that's literally at the top of the NFC North right now? One of the 3 best football teams in the NFC, one of the 5 best football teams in all of the NFL, and you want to talk about contracts and long-term success? Your championship window is right now. You don't sleep on that. You don't ignore that. You capitalize on your opportunity. No, let's just stick with what we got and let's roll the dice with who we are. No! The Lions are one of the most inexperienced teams that's contending right now. Eagles are not inexperienced. Niners are not inexperienced. The Bills are not inexperienced. The Chiefs are not inexperienced. The Lions are. And you don't sit still when you need to make sure you're trying to be strong enough for the postseason, especially, again, with the injuries and inexperience that this team has dealt with all season. You don't sit still with that. You capitalize and keep up with the Joneses. And I'm not saying just go after anybody. I'm not saying just bring anybody in. That's dumb. But you telling me that Chase Young wouldn't fit on this team? You telling me Montez Sweat wouldn't make a difference on this team? Leonard Williams would make a difference on this team? Aiden Hutchinson over here begging for help, getting double teamed and blindsided every time he's at running off the edge. Every time he comes with a spin move, there's somebody else to chip him. He has no help, no consistent help. I don't want to disrespect Aleem McNeil. I don't want to disrespect Bugs. I don't want to disrespect Kaminsky, James Houston. They're good football players, but they'd be better with game records around them. You add to that, especially when you have a championship window. You don't sleep on it. You capitalize and make sure you're ready to go see those teams later. And again, if you don't get them, fine. But at least try to give the impression that you're trying to capitalize and make it to the Super Bowl. You don't sit and wait and be like, oh, we're playing the long game. You play the long game when you have no plan, when you're not going anywhere. When you have championship-level players, when you have a foundation set, when you have a GM who has been shown to be able to find late-round gems in the draft, you don't sweat about a second or third or fourth-round pick that you trade for a potential all-pro player. You make that move. A third-round pick means nothing if you can go get Chase Young for 2 years. It means nothing. And if you don't want to re-sign him, fine, let him walk. And then you let your GM, who's been a genius with late-round picks, go find another gem. You don't sit and wait. You go take advantage of the opportunity in front of you. And the Lions completely missed on that. If they get dog-walked in the first round of the playoffs, what are we going to say? Well, I mean, hey, well, at least we got there. It'll be cool to win the division. At this point, the Lions should win the NFC North. And I'm going to celebrate. I'm going to pop bottles. I'm going to celebrate, and I'm going to have a good time. But if we get dog-walked in the playoffs like they did against the Ravens, it's going to mean a lot less. It's not going to be as meaningful with the season that they've had if you're getting booted out by a huge margin by the good teams. That's not what is supposed to happen. It can't be just, oh, we're happy to be here. No, we're here to make noise. This is the same team that Brad Holmes put villain on, and we all embraced it. Oh, we're villains. We're villains. It's us against the world. Detroit versus everybody. And we sitting here standing pat when we have an opportunity to capitalize with a villain power move, and we don't even do it. We don't even do it. Now, hell, if it comes out tomorrow that there's a report that the Lions tried to go get Chase Young and they failed, I'll take all this back. You guys can take all your comments back. Whatever you want to do, I'll be fine with it. But as of right now, it seems like they didn't do nothing, and they were totally content with it. It's not an accident that all the contending teams made a move to get stronger on the same day, or yesterday, or the day before. You sat still and did nothing. If it was just the Bears making moves and other terrible teams like the Falcons and other whack teams that ain't doing nothing, like the Carolina Panthers, then fine. You'd have an argument. The Bills, the Niners, the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Seahawks, all the contenders made moves, and you did nothing. And I'm sitting here having to argue with people on social media telling me why it's okay. You apologists, man. I don't understand y'all. I really don't. But please try to convince me and talk to me why. Tell me why I'm wrong. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear it. I'll be in the comment section. I'll go back and forth with you. I want to hear a legitimate argument why it's okay that the Lions added nothing at the trade deadline for their defense. When they get dog-walked like Lamar Jackson just did last week to this team in the playoffs, y'all better keep that same energy. Keep that same, oh, it's fine. We're playing the long game. We're playing. And you'll sound just as dumb as you did earlier today. The Lions are trying to win now. Their championship window is right now. You don't sit still. And I'm disappointed that the Lions did that. Tell me why you think it was smart. Tell me why you think it was dumb. I'd love to hear you in the comment section. Hit me up. Talk to me in the comments. And maybe you're not a Lions fan. Maybe you're okay. Maybe you're a different fan. Maybe you're a fan of the Seahawks or the Chiefs, a team that was smart and made a move. Tell me why it was smart to make the move that you did. I'd love to hear it. I really want to hear from y'all. Talk to me in the comments. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. We're getting closer and closer on our way to 100 subscribers. Trying to tag that by the end of the year, and I would love to make that happen with your support. It would really mean a lot to me. Hit me up. I would love to hear from you. Appreciate you for tuning in. This is Top Title Sports. I'm going to go try to woosah and collect my thoughts and keep my emotions in check, but I don't think that's going to happen. Happy Halloween. Thank you for tuning in. Love you and appreciate you. Peace.